question is, who will you be?
Well, the X-Men reboot rumors are officially getting out of control right now, and honestly, this might become one of the most important casting decisions in MCU history, because Marvel isn't just rebooting another superhero team here, they're rebooting an entire generation of iconic characters people grew up with for over 20 years. And after all the rumors exploding online lately, I genuinely think Marvel Studios is preparing something way bigger than people realize. According to multiple insider rumors, these are some of the actors currently being connected to the reboot. Odessa A'zion reportedly being considered for Rogue, Peter Claffey linked to Beast, Trinity Bliss connected to Jubilee, Jack Champion rumored for Cyclops, and the biggest rumor of all, Millie Bobby Brown potentially joining the reboot in a major role. And honestly, this already tells us a lot about Marvel's direction. First of all, Odessa A'zion as Rogue actually makes a crazy amount of sense to me. She naturally has that emotional intensity Rogue needs. Because Rogue isn't just the cool southern mutant girl, she's tragic. She literally can't touch people without hurting them. That emotional isolation is the core of the character. And honestly, Odessa has the exact kind of screen presence that could make Rogue feel vulnerable, emotional, and dangerous at the same time. I genuinely think Rogue could become one of the emotional centers of this reboot if Marvel handles her correctly. Now, Peter Claffey as Beast is really interesting too. A lot of fans still love Nicholas Hoult, and honestly, I get why. But Marvel clearly seems interested in a full, fresh start after Avengers Secret Wars. And my theory, this version of Beast will probably be younger, more athletic, and more physically active than previous versions. Not just the smart guy, more like an intellectual fighter, balancing science and violence at the same time. That could actually make Beast way more interesting on screen. Then there's Trinity Bliss as Jubilee. Honestly, smart casting. Jubilee has always worked best as the audience POV character, the younger mutant discovering this chaotic world for the first time alongside the viewers. And Marvel desperately needs that youthful energy again, especially if they're rebuilding X-Men for a whole new generation. Now let's talk about the one that really caught my attention, Jack Champion as Cyclops. Because Cyclops is honestly one of the hardest X-Men characters to adapt correctly. For years, people treated him like the boring leader guy. But comic fans know Cyclops is actually one of the most emotionally damaged and conflicted characters in the entire X-Men universe. And I honestly think Marvel knows that now. Jack Champion has that intense, disciplined energy that could make Cyclops feel less robotic and way more emotionally layered. My prediction, this MCU version of Cyclops is going to be angrier, more traumatized, more morally complicated, especially in a post-Secret Wars MCU where mutants are probably entering a world that already fears enhanced individuals. Now, obviously, the biggest conversation right now is Millie Bobby Brown, because if Marvel actually casts her, that immediately becomes one of the biggest MCU castings in years. And honestly, I think there's only a few realistic options: Jean Grey, Kitty Pryde, or maybe even a completely unexpected role.
Personally, I think Jean Grey makes the most sense strategically, because whether people like it or not, Millie has massive global star power, and Marvel knows X-Men needs a huge mainstream face to help relaunch the franchise. But that's also risky, because the second someone plays Jean Grey, comparisons become unavoidable. Famke Janssen, Sophie Turner. Fans are always going to compare performances. And honestly, I don't think Marvel should rush into the Dark Phoenix saga immediately again. That's one of my biggest theories about the reboot. I think Marvel is going to slow down this time, focus on team building first, relationships, mutant discrimination, character dynamics. Then eventually build toward Phoenix later in the saga, because Fox rushed Dark Phoenix twice, and both times it became messy. Now, here's my bigger theory overall. I genuinely believe the reboot will take place after Secret Wars completely reshapes the MCU timeline. That solves multiple problems instantly. It explains the recasting, it explains why mutants suddenly become publicly known, and it allows Marvel to rebuild the X-Men mythology from scratch inside the new MCU world. That's honestly the smartest move possible. And villain-wise, I don't think Magneto will be the main villain immediately. I actually think Mr. Sinister has a very high chance of becoming the first major threat, especially if Marvel wants a darker, more horror-inspired mutant storyline. Then maybe Magneto evolves into a complicated anti-hero instead of a simple villain later. That feels way more modern. And honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if we eventually get small crossover moments with the Avengers too, because Deadpool and Wolverine already started breaking the walls between universes. A small cameo from Hugh Jackman somewhere in the reboot honestly feels very possible. At the end of the day, this reboot is bigger than casting rumors. This is Marvel trying to rebuild one of the most beloved superhero franchises ever made for a completely new generation. That's huge pressure. But honestly, these rumors actually make me cautiously optimistic, because for the first time in years, it feels like Marvel is focusing on younger actors with long-term potential instead of just chasing nostalgia. And that's exactly what X-Men needs right now. Anyway, what do you guys think? Do you like Odessa A'zion as Rogue? Would Millie Bobby Brown work better as Jean Grey or Kitty Pryde? Or do you still wish the old cast continued instead? Let me know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more movie theories, rumors, and other pop culture topics. See you guys in the next one.